I don't know if you talked about this on the podcast yet, but you are considering celibacy.
Considering in a future sense.
Yes.
No, I believe it will be part of my life, honestly. It was a huge part of my life for a long time.
Voluntary celibacy?
For about 19, 20 years.
I foresee involuntary celibacy in my future.
Even with those DMs?
Even with those
Wow.
No, I do think that I will go 5 to 6 months at some point within the next 3 to 5 years. That is my prediction.
That's your pledge.
That's not a pledge.
To the people who care, and we'll hold you accountable.
Well, you'll get on my case. I know it.
And I think I'm more curious on the motivation.
The motivation is because it's lessened, but it's the same as Aubrey's motivation, which I think is the right motivation minus the Instagram aspect of it, is using particularly members of the opposite sex liking you and validating you in a sexual capacity as a route to feel good about oneself. Mm-hmm. And I think that is, it's tough because when you're in a relationship, hopefully that's a part of the relationship. Mm-hmm. But if you get out of a relationship, I think it's kind of like cutting out sugars. And it's like, this would be a good thing to do for a period of time just to sort of reset where I look to feel good about myself. Yeah. I don't look to be liked or to be pleasing to other people. I look to some sort of internal thing mm-hmm. with more ease and regularity. So that's why I would do it.
Yeah.
And then it's not like a vow of forever. I don't think. Maybe, who knows?
Pledge it now. Pledge it. Put it down.
Pledge it. Pledge it. Yeah, that's why. Because I think it's too easy for me to receive validation from that and numb any internal discomfort that I might otherwise have to deal with. Mm-hmm. I would, hopefully go longer than 9 days, but I think it'd be easier for me to go longer than 9 days. Let's be real. My DMs aren't that active.
No, Aubrey Marcus.
You don't have to try and tone it down now. We heard the truth.
Yeah.
We heard the honesty.
I heard the humble brag. It's just too easy for me to get validation from the opposite sex.
And tell me, why don't you want validation from the opposite sex?
Because I think it's a crutch. It's that's the best metaphor. We're screwing our metaphors up today, but it's, you have this leg that could develop strength if only you tested it.
It's the self-love leg.
Yeah, and it would be it would be hard, it would be sore, and it would hurt, and it would struggle, and you might fall. And so in order to avoid that, because it's uncomfortable, you just walk around with this solid crutch, but you're crippled in some way forever. Yep. And so what you want to do is you kick that crutch out, and then you go, okay, like this leg is going to get strong.
Yep.
Or it's going to get strong.
Yep.
Or I'll find another crutch.
or you carry a crutch and you have a backpack of other crutches. Yeah. So if that crutch were to break, you never have to rely on your weak leg.
Yes. Yeah. Or you could get yourself a Ferrari.
Yeah.
Driver that don't need a crutch. But I would actually say that is similar to my train of thought. And that's mm-hmm. why I feel like instead of going for celibacy, I went for monogamous relationship. Mm-hmm. Because I don't know, and maybe I'm not as enlightened yet. I don't know if the ultimate goal is to walk on the legs. It is to get the most sustainable crutch, the mm-hmm. one you don't have to replace every week or every month or whatever it is.
That's a great point.
And so, so family, they could be considered a crutch, but their crutch is going to be there the whole life.
Hopefully. Well, this is the Buddhist point. Like, depending on how far you zoom out, nothing is permanent. Everything is going to be left. The only mm-hmm. thing that will be here from start to finish is your own consciousness. Mm-hmm. So anything outside of your own consciousness is an attachment to something that is impermanent and a crutch in mm-hmm. this metaphor, mm-hmm. family included. Like, yes. You're very fortunate that everyone in your family is healthy, and I hope that stays for as long as you are alive.
Thanks, John.
Which weirdly enough is a way of saying, like, I hope you die first.
We're all rooting for it.
All at the same time.
All at the same time.
1, 2, 3.
But yeah, and there are things that have more reliability than others. In my life, I would say when relationships, are in the middle to short term, honestly, when I look at how long they last. And I mean romantic relationships. Yes. I would say friendships are in the medium to long term, like you can rely on them. And that's just based on my experience. So the reason that I don't choose to make my plan, okay, this is going to be a forever romantic relationship is because that's not been my experience of romantic relationships. It's
And
not what I
interestingly,
see.
you're not talking about going celibate from friends, for instance.
No,
You're not
no.
saying the way I'm going to teach myself self-love is to stop hanging out with my friends. So
Correct.
Because it is a more dependable crutch.
Yeah, and weirdly enough, maybe one day I'll be like, oh man, a friend will die and I'll suffer and I'll be like, oh my God, that's impermanent too. I'm going to have to go sit on a mountain by myself. And
Well,
just,
can I offer another reason though, potentially? I think that most people don't replace self-love with friend love. I think most people replace it with romantic love. This idea of you complete me. My ex and I used to say, you're my person, this person that's meant for me, that completes me. You don't say that about a friend. I love you. You're like one of my closest friends. But I never say, oh, Benji, now that I have you, I'm a complete person.
Thank you.
Right? I have
Benji's going to edit that in post reality.
Yeah, we got it.
remove the caveat. And here he is saying that I complete him.
Smooth over, Charlie.
You know what I mean? So there is this sense of I still have to be a complete whole, even if I have amazing friendships.
Yes.
But I think with the romantic relationships, some people can lose themselves a little bit or feel like they need that other person in order to be whole. Mm-hmm. So I think that's why people like Aubrey or you or tons of other people say that celibacy is important, but not being friendless. Mm-hmm. I think those do fill different psychological roles. Mm-hmm. I think monks are friends with other monks, probably, right? They're just all celibate. I think that's indicative of something. That Buddhism has existed for a long time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that the attachment that is created in a romantic relationship is something
unique to a friendship. That's why people like them so much.
Yeah,
that's why people get so infatuated with the romantic partners. It does something very different to the brain than a friendship does.
Mm-hmm. And weirdly enough, this is I've talked about self-love on the channel now for 3 years, but there is a sense of, I've talked about in that first video, the pillar, the leg, call it whatever you want, and having these other legs supporting it. And one can be your reputation, it can be your popularity, it can be the people that you date, it can be any of those things. And yeah, I'm wondering at what point in my life I'm going to have to just kick all the ones that I'm leaning out. And monks shave their heads. I thought about that. I remember. I was like, I might shave my head on camera, Britney Spears style.
Yeah.
And because I get it, I'm attached to my hair. I would be embarrassed or scared to walk around bald, and maybe for that reason I need to do it. So in due time, though, I would say if I am on the monk's path, it's the sidewalk. Certainly not the highway to Buddhist enlightenment at this point. Maybe slowly over the course of years and decades.
Bunkers pull up like, get in, bro. You're on the way to the mountain. You know what?
I'm good.
I'm dating right now.
I said it within 3 to 5 years.
Hope that you guys enjoyed that clip. If you want to see more like this and have us do more podcasts, we are 100% funded by our generous patrons. And if you'd like to contribute, there's a link in the description, and we'll have one pop up on the screen right here so that we can do more podcasts where we have fun conversations and hopefully some deep ones like this. Either way, hope that you enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one.